Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over some updates for the used car market. There's some pretty big updates when it comes to day supply, pricing, and we'll get into all of it in today's video. Before we get in this video, just a couple of things. Car buying guide in the description down below, like always. And then the second thing is that tomorrow's video is going to be in regards to the new car market. We actually have some pretty big updates when it comes to new car sales. So if you want to see that video, it's going to be popping out tomorrow. And with that being said, let's get right into it. The first figure for us to dive into is the estimated amount of used cars that will be sold in 2023. This comes from Cox Automotive, and they state that there's going to be about 36 million used cars sold in 2023, which would represent an increase of nothing compared to 2022. So they think that sales are going to be flat year over year. But at the same time, what's happening right now is that when you look at year over year sales from one month to the next, sales are declining on the used car side of things. It basically was a situation where at the beginning of the year, used car sales were pretty strong, and now they're really weak, and they're continuing to weaken month over month. And when you look at these statistics when it comes to overall volume of used cars available for sale and day supply, it really shows this. So the amount of used cars that are available on the market is just over 2.19 million. This represents a 47-day supply. If you've been following the channel, you know that the day supply with the used car market on the retail side of things has been typically sitting around a 40-day supply. So this is a pretty big increase. We're getting closer to 50 days. The average listing price is just over $27,000. The average mileage is just over 70,000 miles. And so you can see that the used car market, at the same time that it's seeing sales decline, it's seeing the day supply increase, and it's actually seeing inventory increase. Inventory levels are finally increasing when it comes to what used car dealers have, or just dealerships in general. And so what this means is that we should start to see retail prices come down, but that's actually not what's happening. Retail prices are staying strong. Wholesale prices are continuing to decline. And so, will retail prices follow these wholesale prices? It's too soon to tell. Cox Automotive, as part of this report, states that they think that retail prices could remain strong because there wasn't a lot of new vehicles sold over the last few years. And so new vehicles that are typically, traded in via lease or other, methods, because, some people just don't keep cars for all that long. Those cars aren't getting traded in because they just were never built. So let's quickly dive into my take on what is currently happening in the used car market, the trends that I am seeing out in the world. So first off, when it comes to the different price brackets within the used car market, affordable used cars are still extremely hot. People are still going crazy over anything that is affordable. Now, there are certain cars that are like super high mileage, super bad condition that aren't selling. Like if you have a car that's not running, like you're probably not gonna be able to sell it for all that much money and not all that fast. But like if your car is in pretty good condition and has pretty reasonable mileage and it's relatively affordable, it is super easy to sell those types of cars in today's market, and I think that trend's going to continue happening. When it comes to the more expensive used cars, so $35,000 plus, those cars are not only sitting on dealer lots for longer, they're seeing their wholesale values decline. This is where we're actually getting most of the wholesale value declines, is with the more expensive used cars, and it's because there's just not a whole lot of interest in those cars. A lot of people that have the budget to spend that amount of money on a car are actually starting to go new because of the lower interest rates that are available on new cars and a lot of the discounts that are now available on new cars as well. And so for a lot of people, it just makes more sense to buy new if they're going to spend more money. The only reason that a lot of people are buying used right now, again, is if the cars are more affordable. And so I think this trend is just going to continue happening into the future. And so this is why we're going to continue seeing, declines in these wholesale prices overall. Now, are the retail prices going to start coming down? I think on certain cars, but there are also other cars that they're still really hard to get, and they're still really desirable in today's market where there's a lot of buyers wanting those vehicles. And so I don't see those prices coming down on the retail side of things. Now, something to note that I have noticed is these cars that are in higher demand still will sometimes take a little bit longer to sell compared to, just a few months ago. But that doesn't necessarily mean that dealers are willing to discount these cars. Dealers just understand they have to spend a little bit more time, trying to sell that car, basically. And so again, we'll see what happens with these dynamics as things move forward, but I think the general trend moving forward with the used car market is that day supply is going to slowly increase, at the same time that inventory is going to slowly increase, because we're seeing more and more people purchasing new cars, which is helping beef up the used car inventory, because these people have trade-ins, which obviously those trade-ins are used cars. And then with more and more people diving into the new car market instead of the used car market, market that's pulling buyers out, which is naturally going to help increase that day supply number and again the overall supply, because if you have less buyers and you have more cars getting traded in, that's just going to be good for the overall health of the market. But just understand, depending on what car you're looking at, you may or may not have a chance of getting a deal on that car. There's still some used cars, just like in the new car market, that are super hot, and so if you want it, you're going to have to pay all the money for it. Dealers, they know what they got. They're not necessarily going to be willing to negotiate. Let me know what you guys think about these trends with the used car market. I'll see you.